Вже можна? Ярослава? Yes. Thank you. Thank you. I live in Lviv. I work in field of civil society, and my organization, Educational Center for Human Rights in Lviv, is a partner of Lviv City of Literature. So we collaborate many, and for a long time. And by the way, my twin brother is the creator and designer who created the logotype of Lviv City of Literature. I think that becoming a writer or a poet is not a question of inspiration. It's not a decision. It's not a choice. It's like sexual orientation. You just feel like a poet. You are a poet. I remember my first poem was written when I was about 5 years old. I learned many children's poems in kindergarten, and I asked my mom, who writes all those texts? And she said, poets. And I asked, and who can become a poet? And she told me that, Господи, як це сказати? Воно або є, або його нема. And she told me that it's inside. So I have it inside. I work for the Educational Center for Human Rights in Lviv. This is really active organization, and we do many to promote and to develop values of human rights, equality, inclusiveness. Lviv is well known as a traditional, nationalistic, and really religious city. 97% of Lviv dwellers name themselves as practical Christians. So it's really important to show and to increase another position where every person can be equal, can be treated equal, and so on and so on. We have two ways of our work. First is educational events, closed and public, and second is art. We try to collaborate with theaters, poets, writers, artists, because art is really important and effective language to share your values. Don't try to put yourself into a stereotype. Don't try to meet expectations of society. Just be yourself. You are the biggest and the greatest value you can bring to this world. Honestly, I thought that this is a phrase of Mark Twain, but Wikipedia told me that this is old Chinese aphorism, but still. Even a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, so make this step.
Hey everybody, my name is Sofia Chelyak and I am coordinating the International Book Forum. It's the biggest festival in Lviv, and also I am doing some translation from Czech language into Ukrainian. This festival is really important part of Lviv, and Lviv being the UNESCO City of Literature. So I'm trying my best, and our team is trying our best to make the festival true, and we are trying to prove this status for Lviv. I'm trying my best not to write, because you can see a lot of hundreds, thousands of people who are doing writing better than you do. So I'm trying to collect them and to put them into the festival program. Also, I'm translating the best piece of work written in Czech language. I'm focusing as a rule on the poetry, and I'm really in love with this work, but I'm not writing. Lucky you and me and all the world. I'm really crazy about Allen Ginsberg poetry, and one of his poems, he starts with the world, I saw the best minds of my generation. We should stop there. because of the rest of poem is not really optimistic, but yeah, I'm really happy to bring all the best minds of our generations together and to make them speak, to make them read, and to make them share the poetry, literature. Darling, you know, I know that you're loving books. I know that you're a book lover, but you know, it's really hard to move with all the thousands of the book from one apartment to another. So be careful, darling. Do what you do and believe in yourself. You're like, hey, hey. I hope you'll find the inspiration and hope you will find your place in this process, because if it's really important. You know, there are millions, billions of people who read. So everything you'll write, it will be read in some kinds. But you know, I wish you to have your audience and to be really comfortable with it.
Hi, I'm Ostap Slavinsky. I'm a poet and translator from Lviv, Ukraine. I was born and spent all my life here. Unlike my parents, who have no roots here, which is quite usual for this city, where the population was changed for more than 90% after the Second World War. And the younger population, the younger generations, the generations of people who were mostly born here, they are more and more integrated with the city, not only as a space for living, but also as a space of history, as a space for memory. And they really feel at home here. This is a very, very important change that is happening now. My parents are musicians. They used to teach music at the music schools, and naturally they had an ambition to make me a musician too. But lessons of music were extremely boring for me. Moreover, I was always stressing, trembling and worrying when I had to play in public during some public performances. And in protest against boredom of lessons and the stress of public performances, I began to write poems and short stories. The writing always seemed to me more intimate than playing music. Nevertheless, in the later years, I was returning to music in different ways, as a member of folk and rock bands, as a member of some art performances with literature and music. Literature has always been a part of something bigger, something more complicated in my mind, something which is closely related to other arts, but still literature is the base, it's basic, and it cannot be eradicated. Our country is in a state of war with Russia. We have several parts of our territory occupied. We have political prisoners, mostly Crimean Tatar activists and journalists who are kept in Russian prisons. But we also have some internal problems, first of all with our judiciary systems, which is a system which is corrupt and is often used as a tool in a fight between government and its political enemies, internal enemies. That's why NGOs and active personalities, writers, translators, intellectualists, high school teachers are involved in political activism. We are organizing solidarity marches, protest actions. We are writing appeals and showing our active position. It's very important, and in such times artistic and intellectual elite has to be in the real social avant-garde. This confrontation between society and government that we have now is, to my mind, is a very important element of transformation of everything, of all our public life. We have to overcome it and to gain our common goal, which is normal state and normal society. When I was younger, I wanted to be everywhere. I wanted to take part in everything. I wanted to be visible. I felt really sad when I could not take part in some festival or some reading. And I wasted really a lot of time in taking part in the events that were really not interesting to me. Now I understood that the quality of presence is more important than the frequency of presence, the frequency of activities. You have to choose the things that you are really interested in, and I think that no one should forget about the basic things, the basic values. I mean freedom of expression, I mean tolerance and transparency, and respect to the person, the person as the separate world. And if you think that, for example, in your country, these values are given and guaranteed once and for all, you may be wrong.